These reports are getting ridiculous, and there's no other way to say this, as we have another Brad Marchand trade update, this time involving a name that the Bruins have been linked to for quite some time. Yet, this may be an interesting trade. This one is quite ridiculous. Hold on your horses as we get into this one, but before we get into it, we noticed that 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. Your guys' support has been absolutely incredible lately, and I appreciate every single one of you guys watching these videos and supporting our Boston Bruins, and if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so. You can unsubscribe whenever, and it is also free. So without any further ado, though, we need to get into this because I need to talk about this. I need to go on a little rant. I need to discuss why things like this need to stop being reported. And let's get underway. And as I mentioned, this is just genuinely getting out of hand. I really don't know much more how to describe these trades, how to really even break these down from a Boston Bruins standpoint. This time, it is between two very interesting players, both of which have been at least linked to, each other, linked to each other's teams for a little bit here now. But let's get into the first screenshot that we have here from Greg Wyshynski. Now, as you see, this one here, Chris Kreider for Brad Marchand. Who says no? This is not coming from Greg. This is coming from an NHL executive on their current take of the NHL trade market. Who says no? The Boston Bruins say no to this immediately. Now, I know there are certain circumstances where this could be changed. The Boston Bruins could be used Chris Kreider more than Brad Marchand, but as an overall standpoint, as this trade being 1-for-1, the Boston Bruins absolutely say no. And I'll break down why here in this video. And let's just get into this. Let me know, first of all, at this point right now, pause. Let me know what you think about this trade in the comments below. Sound off. There are no holding back on this because it is a very difficult one for a Boston Bruins fans like us to be able to kind of just sit down and watch. But looking at, of course, Brad Marchand's stat this season, started off pretty slow. Started off a bit sluggish, and obviously 3 surgeries in the offseason. I feel like I have to put the emphasis on 3 every single time we discuss this because that's just absolutely ridiculous. But 27 points in 35 games, been very, very hot as of late. 14 goals, 13 assists. Brad Marchand's been playing very good lately. And of course, the big thing here, 36 years old in an expiring contract, almost guaranteed to be extended by the Boston Bruins at some point, although Brad Marchand is not a guy that likes to reveal his contract updates, contract negotiations, anything like that. So we will not know until there is pen on paper if Brad Marchand is signed, or we get a report very, very early before, or very quick before that happens. But Brad Marchand this season, very, very good. Of course, this is one thing we've all been waiting for, all been hoping to see, is Brad Marchand stay on a good pace, and he absolutely is helping the Bruins get to the point they are this season after the change of coaches for Joe Sacco now. And of course, the game last night as well, another win against the Buffalo Sabres. I mentioned last video, I knocked on wood. Hopefully we got the win. We did, but we still are not done on this stretch of pretty big games ahead of the New Year's. And looking now at Chris Kreider, 33 years old, on the same price contract as Brad Marchand. 29 games this season, 12 points, 11 goals, and 1 assist. Now, a lot of people, this is what I've seen a lot of people say about Chris Kreider, is that we need goal scoring. Yeah, we need goal scoring. A lot of that would come. Chris Kreider would bring that. But when we're looking at a trade for Brad Marchand for Chris Kreider, I'll pull this back up once again. I'll flick between them here a little bit. Although we do have 6 more games played than the New York Rangers, Brad Marchand has more goals. Now, what does that say about needing more goal scoring? Chris Kreider may be the better overall goal scorer from a shot standpoint, but Brad Marchand will get in the areas that no other player in the NHL will go. He puts his body on the line every time. He's willing to just go at every puck at 110% every time. And also, considering the goals, you're not going to trade a bit better goal score for someone who is just putting the puck on other people's sticks, contributing to goals, getting assists, playing like an absolute dog, and just in his career being an important player for this team. Every season he's been on this team. And of course, the captain now after Chara left, after Bergeron left, it is now him. He earns this spot, rightfully so, and he is going to stay here until his career is over. But as well, nearly point per game as well. Let's not say that on his career. Let's not forget to say that. 291 plus or minus in the NHL, plus 291. Absolutely insane numbers, to be honest with you. I'm kind of on a tangent there, but absolutely insane. And looking at Chris Kreider once again, Chris Kreider, yeah, he's good. The Rangers suck this year. The Rangers are trying to trade everybody after signing Shesterkin to $11.5 million deal. They're really just making up every single possible trade at this point to make something change for their team. And they're not going to make this happen. This trade is going to be, kind of wiped from memory in a couple days. But the fact that an NHL executive spoke about this. The fact that an NHL executive said, "Who says no?" I don't know why they're an NHL executive, and I do completely understand why they stayed anonymous on this whole topic of the idea, at least for now. But, looking at this as well, kind of want to pull up the contract, seeing like 6.125 Brad Marchand, the final year of his deal. 37 when this contract is over. He's not going to be young, and he is not going to be getting any younger. But looking at the way Brad Marchand's been playing over the past few seasons, looking at the way he still plays day in and day out, he plays a lot better than a normal 36 or 37-year-old in the NHL. He plays like he is, in his early 30s. I don't want to say 20s, because we see the tiny bit of regression, but for his age, he is still such an integral piece for the Boston Bruins. He plays like an absolute dog every single game, and there's really no signs of actually slowing down until his body can't. We know Brad Marchand mentally and physically will go at 100% every possible time, but how long that will take and how much longer that will be, we really don't know. But I still see many, many seasons in Brad Marchand's future, although I guess it depends as well as how long he will want to play and everything that kind of lines up that way. But a contract for Brad Marchand that we're going to have to sign him to an extension to will not be, $6 million. It won't be around that, I wouldn't say. I'd say it would probably be a little bit less or even a little bit more for shorter term. And I think that Brad Marchand understands the idea, the concept that this team is trying to get better. They're going to need the cap space to add some of these guys. Even though the cap is going up overall, Brad Marchand wants to win one more before he retires. There's no doubt in my mind about that, and he's been doing everything that he can to make that happen, and he'll know that a contract around the $8 million, $7 million will not be feasible for him, but if he takes another pay cut, as he's been doing his whole career, a team player on that front, the Bruins will have a very, very good chance. And going over to Chris Kreider's contract, looking at what we've seen with him, a $6.5 million, just over Brad Marchand's. He's in year 5 of 7 of this contract. He's going to be age 36 when this expires. Right now, I honestly do think that Brad Marchand's contract is a lot more valuable than this, and for a few reasons. Obviously, it's a one-year deal going on to an extension that will be likely, I don't want to say confidently that it will be less, but likely be less than what we're seeing it is now. And Chris Kreider has seen the regression. I will say that as well, from the one that we've seen a few years ago, the speed that he had, this goal scoring, which is still there. It's also just taking that little tiny notch down. But the way that Brad Marchand plays, the way that he's been, figuring this season out as it's been going, starting off slow, getting back into a hot streak here now, playing really, really good games, 90% of the time, which they need to do. He's been a very big factor in that, while Chris Kreider, I don't want to say has had a major impact at all on the Rangers trying to bounce back from their slow streak right now, and realistically, this trade just has no reason to happen, and I do think that this is just absolute ridiculous, clickbait on the article side of things, and I don't have who this article is by, but if you search up Chris Kreider, Brad Marchand, you will get this result. If you want to go read the full thing, there's not too much in it, which kind of leads to not too much evidence. I do think that this NHL executive is just simply losing their mind with this trade, but who says no? The Boston Bruins say no. So let me know what you think about this trade. Let me know what you think about this whole report, because I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say about this. But that's all I got for this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.